Hello hot people and welcome to the 7th entry in my Balls game Devlog. This week did not go quite as planned. Initially I wanted to add enemies to the game this week, but it was so hot my brain had a hard time creating a decent 3D model for said enemy. I just couldn't really concentrate and get anything going. So I'm just going to push this plan to next week and I picked a handful of easier things to do now. Starting with updating the collectibles a fair bit. First, I made an attempt to replace the collectible model and change it from an icosphere to some sort of a droplet gemstone. But I don't know, it didn't look right to me, so I went back to an icosphere for now. Then I moved the part responsible for the animation, the rotation and up and down movement, from the actor to the material. Thanks for the suggestion, applesauce. I was a bit worried about rotating a whole model with the material, but apparently Unreal comes with the rotate around axis node. But it seems this node causes problems with normals on some graphics cards. At least that is something I read online. Good thing my graphics card had this problem, or I maybe would have never noticed. Luckily this comes with the second node, the fixed rotate around axis normals node. After finding out how to use this thing, everything looked as fancy as it could be. But wait, there is more! More updates with the collectible system. Some people have asked for a bigger hitbox on the collectibles. So I gave them an extra collision radius, and when you enter it, it kind of makes the collectibles magnetic and home to the player. So you don't need to be as precise to pick them up and just need to be close enough. But wait, there is still more! I updated the counting system for collectibles. Now the count won't just always start at 0, even if you collected some pickups in the previous run of the level. It will pre-count the number of collectibles you have previously picked up, and the white ones, those you have already collected, don't add to the count anymore, because that would make it double count, duh. And if you pick up a final collectible in a level, it will let you know by playing a special jingle sound instead of the normal pickup sound effect. The next task I tackled was finally reworking the goal model. I had purchased this water fluid sim package a while ago, and in the examples that came with it I saw something cool that inspired me. There is something like a water sphere that reacts to collision. So I made a... what would you call this? A platform or pedestal? Whatever, the thing you see on screen. I don't think it needed sculpting details, so I went right to texturing. And gave it a greenish clay material and a gold ring with a spiral pattern in the middle. As usual, I added some dirt and I gave it a white emissive material for the cracks, so it looks like it's holding some sort of energy inside. I made this texture white here, so I can use this as a mask in Unreal and basically give it any color I like, or even change it at runtime if I wanted to. But what I decided to do is just give it a bit of a pulsating effect. Then I placed the water sphere above it and we're in for a good start. I just had to rework the material a little since it wasn't quite to my liking yet. But after this was done, I added a cone to the base and wanted to add a scrolling shine effect, a bit like the old gold model had. But it didn't look very good, and while trying to redo the shine texture I got an idea. I basically just made a light beam texture, then I removed the cone and replaced it with a few rings. Now placed a light beam texture on it and made that scroll. And I think that was a pretty good improvement, but I can do more. At least a little. So I made a particle effect that spawns from a ring and give it a bit of a vortex force. Adjust the light color, et voila, a fancy new goal model. Let me know if you like it in the comments. I wanted to add a few more effects to the scenery, and luckily Unreal comes with a good bunch of free example projects. I started by copying butterflies from their Blueprint example project. Before that, I also looked through a handful of guides online on how I could make butterflies myself, but the results were mixed, at least in my opinion. And making them myself would also mean finding a bunch of butterfly textures somewhere or making those myself too. There would have been a nice butterfly pack for fairly cheap on the marketplace, but why deal with any of this when you already have a decent package at hand that you can use for free that does the job? I then updated the materials to be more natural and placed a few of them around the level. They also have a cool AI gimmick. They have a point of attraction that they fly to and land on that can be placed somewhere around them. I also made him start flying when the player gets close to them. It's not perfect avoidance, but it's something. I also saw something else that looked nice in this example project, so I quickly made it my own. I'm talking about these light shafts. There are already some light shafts from post-processing when you look at the sun, but I don't think adding some extra that can be seen from other angles would hurt. So I migrated them from the example project to my project and again placed some around the level. The next effect I wanted to add was just some dust sparks hanging in the air, and Unreal's particle example project offers them for free. So why spend time doing these basic things myself when no one would ever know it wasn't done by myself, spending a few hours making a few spots fly around that would basically look the same in any project that uses an effect like this. There is one final thing I wanted to do this week. We had a new goal and now I wanted to also add a starting platform. So I went for a similar style for this one. I copied the texturing materials from the goal and applied them to this model, and the software crashed. Always save your work in regular intervals, I'm telling you. With the model and textures done, I created another particle effect for the spawn animation. For the ball, I applied a timeline that changes the scale, location and rotation of the ball. And while editing the timeline, I ran out of video memory. Woohoo! Well, anyway, when it finished playing the timeline animation, it gives you control of the ball and you can start playing. Since the automatically generated collision for this platform was not flat and the ball started rolling without input, I took the time to manually make a collision model, in this case in Blender. You can easily do this by duplicating the model, then in edit mode select everything, and in the menu bar choose Model Convex Hull. Then I just made sure the top part is flat by selecting all the faces and scale the Z-axis to 0. Good to know is when you give the model name the prefix UCX_, and keep the rest of the model name the same, it will automatically be imported as the model's convex collision. Man, it feels amazing to see how far this project has come in just a few weeks. Well, and this is it for this week. I want to give a special thanks to my patrons Yaya Danbus and Nathaniel Page, as well as smaller supporters who helped making this project a little more possible with their support. And if you like what you just saw, why not show it with a click on the like button? It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you don't want to miss future updates on this project, hit the subscribe button. I hope to see you next time. Bye!